be the best way to concealed mind controlling, concealed mind controlling, mind controlling, mind controlling, mind controlling? What would be the best way?
What would be the best way to conceal mind control?
The Obama administration is using mind control to manipulate all of us.
The Obama administration is using mind control to manipulate all of us. Using mind control to manipulate all of us. Mind control to manipulate all of us. Mind control to manipulate all of us.
Agenda 21, a highly controversial plan developed during the 1980s. It would allow the government to force people to move from the suburbs to the cities and use mind control to manipulate everything we do.
Use mind control to manipulate everything we do. Manipulate everything we do.
I'm very concerned about this president garnering so much power and arrogance.
In the traditional motion picture story, the villains are usually defeated. The ending is a happy one. I can make no such promise for the picture you're about to watch. The story isn't over. You and the audience are part of the conflict.
More human beings were slaughtered in the 20th century than in all previous centuries combined.
We're talking a congressional record, 135 million dead.
Their entire purpose was to detach our culture from any moral anchors whatsoever.
You look at the changes in America since 1960, perhaps. The whole culture's been transformed.
They're coming out of the belief that the village should raise the child. And the village means the government.
They have deliberately destroyed the American family, understanding that's the foundational block that builds a society.
We've come from Norman Rockwell's America to, Hugh Hefner's America.
While the USA goes around the world expounding on the virtues of its way of life, it is obvious that those in charge place little value on human life, they are willing to kill thousands, even millions, for profit, for power, for money, for oil and resources. The USA doesn't even value the lives of its own citizens. Witness the numerous testings of weapons, drugs, medications, pesticides, GMOs, subterfuge on its own population. One of the few developed nations that fails its citizens totally in the area of the right to adequate health care. Those who cannot afford it do not get it. Financially, mentally, and physically robbed by politicians, banksters, and industry without the capacity to understand how to care for themselves, they end up homeless on the street, begging for money, being robbed, being beaten, being hungry, committing crimes because they have no choice. Then there are the families. The lives of these families are becoming pure hell. There is violence, destruction, and threats. An all-out attack from the health system, the government, law enforcement, and even neighbors.
The state itself is ultimate. That there's nothing, no law higher than the state, and if there's no law higher than the state, there's no appeal against it.
They're training them for the collective, and a collective mindset and a dependency mindset.
And it seems that they, again, want to have people be uneducated, so then they do become wards of the state. They're dependent on the government to provide everything for them.
So, meet the mentally ill of the USA and the victims of the many who go without being cared for. Meet the disposable people. The political pundits and politicians have started a mantra about gun control in order to gain more control over the population. It's not the guns, it's the lack of care for your own people. It is suggested that the USA get its own house in order before dictating to the rest of the world. Use the many blessings and resources of the land, the people, for your own, and not for trotting around the globe, killing others for profit, whilst those at home suffer. The capitalist system sees people as a disposable commodity, to be thrown out if not productive or useful in some way. The American dream. You have to be asleep to believe it.
Once people figure it out, they're going to do what people everywhere do. They're going to start protesting, and they're going to start revolting. And when that happens, that's when the powers that be feel threatened, and they use the power that they have.
Meet the USA's disposable people. Oil soaked and fracked, food poisoned, inoculated by tainted vaccines, Fukushima radiation, trapped by mainstream media propaganda, spied upon by government, impoverished, murdered. A homeless empire created by and destroyed by the US military-industrialist complex. Treated like garbage. Promulgated by the same shady cast of characters responsible for embroiling us in the endless war on terror in the first place. Americans, the disposable people. Shalom.
It was a 4-hour meeting about how the United Nations is using a mind control technique developed during the Cold War to secretly steal away Americans' freedoms.
Seth Clark of the political watchdog group Better Georgia videotaped part of the briefing. He captured slides from the presentation comparing President Obama's record to that of Mao and Stalin.
Senator Rand Paul is unveiling new legislation to stop Obama's assault on your Second Amendment rights. He is here to explain it all himself. Kentucky Senator Rand Paul. Senator, you did say that we don't have an imperial president. You did say that he doesn't have the right to do this. How can you stop it?
You know, our founding fathers were very concerned about having a separation of powers. They didn't want to let the president become a king. And so they wanted to say that Congress was the one to legislate, not the president. So we have a bill that we're going to introduce, and in this bill, we will nullify anything the president does that smacks of legislation. There are several of the executive orders that appear as if he's writing new law, and I'm afraid that President Obama may have this king complex sort of developing.
But it's not the first time that he's done this. And there have been a note, I mentioned this earlier in the program, he didn't seek congressional authority when he used military strikes on Libya. Recess appointments. The Senate wasn't in recess. He couldn't get the DREAM Act passed, so an executive order to allow illegal immigrants to stay in the country. Obamacare, obviously he used the reconciliation process. They wouldn't defend the Defense of Marriage Act. They weakened welfare work requirements and the contraceptive mandate. He's doing all of this now without congressional approval. So is it unconstitutional in your view?
Yes, and I think there's a history of this arrogance, you know, because with regard to environmental extremism, cap and trade, he couldn't get cap and trade through Congress, and now he's trying to do it through regulatory fiat. I'm very concerned about this president garnering so much power and arrogance that he thinks he can do whatever he wants.
Garnering so much power and arrogance. I'm very concerned about this president. There are several of the executive orders that appear as if he's writing new law.
Which passages of Scripture should guide our public policy? Should we go with Leviticus, which suggests slavery is okay, and that eating shellfish is an abomination? Or we could go with Deuteronomy, which suggests stoning your child if he strays from the faith? Or should we just stick to the Sermon on the Mount, a passage that is so radical that it's doubtful that our own Defense Department would survive its application?
Be still and know that I am God. I will be exalted among the nations, will be exalted in the earth.
So, y'all better vote for fucking Obama, okay? We're better know for worse. All right? We have a black Muslim in the White House.
The Obama administration is using mind control to manipulate all of us.
I have 2 words for you. Predator drones. Predator drones. You will never see it coming.
You will never see it coming.
If you're willing to work hard, it doesn't matter who you are, or where you come from, or what you look like, or where you love. It doesn't matter whether you're black or white, or Hispanic, or Asian, or Native American, or young or old, or rich or poor, able, disabled, gay or straight. You can make it here in America if you're willing to try. Yes, we can. As you say.
As you say.